Today, we're gonna be talking about leadership and mentoring. So guys, dyan sa mga nanonood dyan sa bahay, bigyan ko lang kayo ng context. Meron tayong papanood din ng video about mentoring, about leadership. And yung video na yon is almost 40 minutes long. So, ito sila. First time lang din nilang napanood yon, except for Carl. Okay, Carl, napanood mo na to kasi shinare ko to dun sa mastermind natin. So, the video is about John Maxwell talking about leadership. So, if hindi nyo kilala si John Maxwell, siya yung best-selling author ng sobrang daming books, actually, about leadership. Ayan, so meron si Jordan. Ayun, nakikitang-kita nyo naman. So, good leaders ask questions. So, kasama yun sa mga book. And marami siyang collection actually ng mga books. And if you want to be a leader someday, or if you want to improve or develop your leadership qualities right now, John Maxwell is one of my go-to guys pagdating sa leadership. Okay, so you're missing a lot if hindi nyo siya pina-follow. So I implore you to follow him on Facebook and sa mga social media niya because he's posting a lot of good content right now, especially during this crisis. Kasi nga sabi ko kanina, ngayon tayo pinakakailangan, and tignan nyo naman si John Maxwell, he's showing up every week to give content. He posted a video about leadership, and ayun yung papanoorin natin today. So sila, first time lang nilang napanood to, and ako actually maraming beses ko na to napanood since last week or 2 weeks ago. I forgot na eh. So pero every time na pinapanood ko, I'm learning something new. So magte-take down notes kami dito. And then what's gonna happen is siguro mga 10, 12, or 15 minutes, we're gonna cut the video and then we're gonna process. We're gonna ask everyone, itong mga mentors natin, dun sa mga key takeaways nila, ano ba yung, meron ba silang violent reaction, anything goes. Kumbaga parang it's a learning session. And it's one of the things or messages din na gusto namin iparating sa inyo na kami, although meron kami mga kanya-kanya mga mentorship programs, we are still trying to learn something new and learn from leaders na gusto naming i-emulate. Diba? So, yun. Ilabas nyo na yung notes nyo. Kung meron kayong notebook dyan, or notepad dyan, or sa PC ba kayo nagda-type, or sa laptop, pakilabas na. Kasi ayaw na nating magsayang ng oras dahil medyo mahaba-haba nga to, no? So, in 10 minutes, we're gonna stop the video and then we're gonna process it and kunin yung mga key takeaways nitong mga mentors. So mentors, raise your hands if ready na kayo. Yon. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. So let's go.
Especially during the coronavirus, I just kind of talked to you about what's happening to us and how do we respond, especially as leaders, because we not only are responsible for ourselves, we're responsible for a lot of people. And I want to talk to you about how to maximize mentoring. And really, this comes out of a conversation that Mark Cole and I had together. You know, Mark is the CEO of the John Maxwell Enterprise. And Mark was sharing with me that during this crisis time that I'm mentoring him a little bit differently. And I thought, that's kind of interesting. And so I kind of asked him, well, what do you mean by that? He said, well, John, he said, you're mentoring me a lot on perspective because how we view things is how we do things. And he said, you're really helping me to see a bigger picture than what the crisis is. Because remember this, crisis has a tendency to reduce the picture. It has a tendency for us to begin to go inward and say, oh my, it's happening to me, and it's probably the worst thing that's ever happened, and nobody's probably ever gone like this and gone through this before. And so Mark said, John, you're just constantly keeping a big picture perspective during the crisis for me. He said, secondly, you're just helping me with creativity. And the creativity is the fact that we've all had to change. A business is not as usual. In fact, for some businesses, not, period. So how do we get creative, and what do we do when we can't do business as usual? So he said, you're helping me with the creativity. And then he said, thirdly, you're helping me balance realism and optimism. And, realism without optimism is so discouraging that that we instead of leading together, we're going to have a wake together. And optimism without reality is pie in the sky. And there's that's not even right for a leader to do that in the fact of you have to give people not only a hope, but you also have to help them. And the hope is in the optimism, but the help is in the realism. And so he said, you're helping me with that balance there. And then he said, what's probably biggest difference is you're less instructive in your mentoring right now, and you're just more available. In other words, I'm just basically saying, Mark, this phone is, you call me at any time. Whatever comes up, I'm just here to help you. And so I almost called this lesson mentoring during a crisis. And then I thought, you know what, that's a little too small. I've got to get a little bit bigger here. We are mentoring right in a crisis. I'm mentoring you today in a crisis. But there's a bigger picture there that not only will help us today in the crisis, but will help us tomorrow or when we're out of this. And so I'm just kind of excited about this lesson. I just developed it for you, and I hope it adds value to you, because there are 4 questions that you want to ask yourself to maximize mentoring in the relationship that you either have with people that you're mentoring or the person that's mentoring you. Here are the questions. Number 1, who mentors me? That's very important. It's not only what they say, but who says it. Now, all 4 of these questions I'm going to come back and teach on. Number 2, when do they mentor me? And the reason, obviously, that question is there is because timing is very important. And there are times when we're more receptive to mentoring than others. For example, during a crisis, we're much more receptive to what leaders have to say when we're in trouble than what they have to say when we seem to be going along real well. Question number 3 is how do they mentor me? I'm very excited about sharing this with you because I think this is meat and mentoring that very seldom any of us ever get. So I went inside myself a lot on this, and I just said, okay, how do I do it? And intuitively, how do I share with you how to really how to really mentor people to get a maximum return for that person that you are sharing with it? And then question number 4, how do I maximize the mentoring? How do I maximize the mentoring if I'm mentoring you? How do I maximize the mentoring if you're mentoring me? In other words, after we're done, we're not done. And that's the thing I think so many people never realize in success. They think that, okay, I just finished that, and they don't really appreciate nor value nor understand the return on what I would call sustained thinking. In other words, when everybody else is done thinking, if you'll stay with that thought a little bit longer, the odds are very high that you're going to get a better thought than the people that just kind of said, well, we're done. Anyway, so those are the 4 questions, and I think that this is going to be helpful. And so thanks for being with me. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope I help you. I hope you pass it on to others. So let's go to question number 1, who mentors me? I want to give you some questions to ask in picking the person or making sure that the person who mentors you is the right person, because you see there is the information that's given in mentoring. I mean, the knowledge that's passed on. But the reason that who is very important is that there's also a spirit in mentoring. There's an attitude. There's a soul in mentoring that really has us to stop and say, it's not only what I'm learning from this person. In fact, to be honest with you, I think every person is my teacher. And so whenever I'm with anyone, no matter who they are, no matter where I am, I'm always in kind of a student mode, because I know they have something that if I'm listening, asking enough questions, they're going to teach me. So that's for everybody. I mean, everybody can be a teacher to us. But when it really comes to somebody mentoring us, that who question is really an important question, because that there's the contagiousness of mentoring is more in the spirit of the person that mentors you than in the words that they give you. So here are the questions. Very simple. Let's go. When you're picking somebody to mentor you, have they been successful? Okay. And just to be honest with you, I really don't have much desire to have somebody mentor me that hasn't excelled in the area that they're mentoring me in, because I want them to be better, farther, smarter than I am. By the question, have they been successful, just put the word experience there, okay? Because that's an experience question. I mean, that's somebody that has had a track record of success under the belt. Question number 2, are they right now successful? Now, this is a little picky, but I think it needs to be mentioned because just like you put experience by the first question, put relevance by this. If they're successful right now, there is a relevance that they have that they wouldn't have if they had been there and done that. I been there and done that is the experience side. Been there and doing it is the relevant side. You got it. Question number 3. Have they been tested and have they passed? In other words, have they passed the crisis test? Because you really don't know if the principles and the values that you talk about really have strength and power and stability until you've been tested with it. And beside that question, have they been tested and have they passed that test, put the word wisdom. And the reason for that is wisdom comes out of crisis and what we've learned from it. Wisdom doesn't come out very seldom of the easy days we have. Wisdom it's forged out of that crisis that we go through, that through that, it's more than what we know, it's what we experience, it's all put together. That's where you get wisdom. Question number 4, are they continually growing? I love this question. In fact, this is a big question for me on people that are mentoring me. I really want people to not only talk to me about what they have learned, I want them to talk to me about what they are learning. The difference is when they tell me what they've learned, I get experience. When they tell me what they're learning, I get passion. So this is a passion question. I want to be mentored by a person who is doing it right now, and they're growing right now. And there's something about the contagiousness of that in a mentoring role that is absent with a person that has grown, but they stopped growing. In fact, I can still remember a very important mentor in my life, very important mentor. I can still remember the day where we sat down and we were in a mentoring session, and all of a sudden the realization, it just hit me like a brick. It just hit me. And we're having this mentoring session, and I look at this person that I greatly love, who has helped me in incredible ways, and I said to myself, they've stopped growing. They're repeating themselves. I was sad all afternoon because I had just outgrown my mentor. And I just never wanted to do that. I always wanted that person to be ahead of me, before me, bigger than me. So that's a great question. Are they continually growing? And the next one, are they emotionally grounded? I not only want somebody that has all the qualifications I've talked to, but I want somebody that's solid. And the reason I ask the question, are they emotionally grounded, because I'm giving you one word by the questions, that word's perspective, by the way, is because dysfunctional leaders, and we're getting more dysfunction in leadership and in our culture all the time. Dysfunctional leaders lead out of their issues instead of out of a good perspective. You show me a person that is emotionally challenged and dysfunctional, and I'll show you a person who leads according to what their needs are, not according to what the big picture is. So are they emotionally grounded? Question number, 6, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Question number 6. Are they my sponsor? Now, I'm going to have to explain that one because there's a difference between a mentor and a sponsor. A mentor is pouring into my life and helping me, but a sponsor is doing more than pouring into my life and helping me. They're backing me up. They're in my corner. They fight my fights for me. The word by sponsor is the word commitment. I've had a lot of mentors. I've had very few sponsors, but I've had a few. In fact, about a year and a half ago, Tom Phillippe Sr. passed away, and he was a huge sponsor from the time I was 33. I mean, for about almost, not quite, 40 years of my life, he was my sponsor, which meant when I was a young leader, he carried weight for me. He paved the way for me. He was the John the Baptist. He fought for me when I wasn't there. He was always in my corner, and he was more than a mentor. he was he was a sponsor. He basically said, that's my boy. And you can't touch him, and I'm going to protect him, and I'm going to survey him, and I'm going to constantly look out for him, and if he's with me or if he's not with me, doesn't matter. It's my boy. We're all fortunate if we can have a few sponsors in our life. I've been very blessed. I've had a few, not a lot, but boy, the few I've had made a big difference in my life. The last question goes back to really why I ask who is mentoring me, and this question's huge, and that is, do they have a greatness that's bigger than their work? Now, you don't hear about this when we talk about mentoring. This is seldom ever discussed, but I'm telling you, it's absolutely essential. This is going back to who mentors me. Most of the other questions I've asked really are questions that we quite understand, but this one, that their greatness is bigger than their work. I'm talking about what word do I use for that one? Their spirit, the persona maybe, but I think persona gets too wrapped up with charisma, and I don't like that because that's not where we're going here. Let me. I think I can illustrate it maybe better than even give you the right word. I had the privilege for about 12 years to be mentored by John Wooden. Life changing. If I had to list mentors, he would be at the top of the list. And he taught me incredible things. I just live everyday principles he taught me in leadership. I remember the first time when I left him after a mentoring session, and he was in a little condominium, and we went down the elevator. I went down the elevator. He stayed in this condo, and I went to a little parking garage, and then the visitors parked out on the outside. And so I'm walking in my car, and I'm just about to open the door of my car, and I just had this intuitive feeling to turn around, and I turned around. And I looked up, and on the little balcony where Coach Wooden lived, he was standing there, and he was watching me the whole time. And he was waiting for me to turn around. He didn't call my name out. He didn't even say anything. He was just standing there. He was watching a person that he had just spent 4 hours with. And I turned around, and I looked up, and I'll never forget, he had that incredible smile of his and that wave. And I got in the car. And I said, I was with a great teacher today, but I was with a greater man than I was a great teacher. Wow. That's huge. That's mentoring that changes life. So, okay, maximizing mentor. Who mentors me? That's question number one. Now, when do they mentor me? Great question. If you would...
Okay. So, stop muna tayo doon, mga kapanaligs. Question number 1, who mentors me? Let's stop right there. Tama, naka 10 minutes na tayo, no? Sige, stop ko muna yung sharing. Okay, so the floor is open. Let's just, how are we going to do this? Siguro yung tanong, di ba, ilan yung questions na sinabi niya doon sa under ng number 1?
7.
Okay? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 nga. Okay, dun sa 7 questions, ano yung parang pinaka nag-resonate sa inyo? That's the question na pwede natin pag-usapan. Sige, sino yung who wants to speak first? Kasi itong question na to is under the category of how to pick a mentor. Okay, now everybody ako naniniwala ko personally na if you want to speed up things in your life, kailangan mo talaga ng mentor. Pero hindi ganun ka kadali din pumili ng mentor. Siyempre, it's a two-way street eh. Hindi naman pwedeng pagka pumili ka, ikaw na yung mentor ko, yung mentor mo is gusto rin na i-mentor ka. Hindi naman ganun. So dapat merong agreement na gusto mo siyang maging mentor and gusto ko rin niyang i-mentor. Kasi mentoring is not just about yung kunyari, let's say, oy, hindi, bayaran kita, enroll ako sa course mo, mentor na kita, hindi ka pwedeng tumanggi, no. Diba? Tayo, ang daming times na tumatanggi tayo sa mga students kasi hindi sila fit doon sa mentoring style din natin, diba? Yung personality nila or whatever. So, and shout out dun sa mga naghahanap ng mentors dyan, mga kapanaligs natin. So, the question right now is how to pick a mentor. And John Maxwell said na meron daw 7 questions na pwede mong i-run through para makahanap ka ng mentor mo. Okay? So, sa inyo guys, ano yung pinaka nag-resonate na question?
Are they Are they continuously growing?
Okay, so bakit mo siya bakit ayun yung pinaka nakarelate ka?
Bakit ako nakarelate doon? Kasi una sa lahat, maganda kasi makahanap ng mentor that is continuously learning his or her craft. Kumbaga parang always sharpening his or her weapon. So, bakit ka tatanggap na mentor based on just past successes? Kumbaga, it shows yung character of the mentor na, ay, masaya na ako dito, hindi magiging obsolete to tinuturo ko. Pero in reality, hindi siya ganun eh. I believe that once you stop learning, you start dying eh. So, very crucial yan for me when I'm looking for a mentor. So, I'm very lucky to have been mentored by you and a lot of people. So, kitang-kita ko pare na talagang porsigido ka to fulfill your mission. I remember a year ago, sinundo kita sa airport. Naalala mo ba yun?
Yes, oo naman. Tuwan-tuwa ako doon, para hindi ko makakalimutan yun. Dumaan tayo sa bagong road.
Oo. Yung doon ko na feel na talagang it's not just you. Kumbaga, for you to serve the bigger picture or yung mission na gusto mo ma-accomplish, you have to be a bigger person. And for you to become a bigger person, you have to learn from more experienced teacher or mentors na pwede mag-accelerate nung growth mo at the same time ma-accelerate yung mission mo in life. So that's very crucial for me.
Yung are they consistently
Yes.
growing, Tama, kasi life is about growth. I agree with you when you said if you're not growing, you are basically dying. Sa business ganon, di ba? Kung kunyari hindi na nag-grow yung business, wala na yon. Magsasara na yun, magbabankrupt na yun eventually. And siguro ng mga bata rin tayo ganun pare. Diba? Kung kunyari, let's say, hindi ka lumalaki. Diba? Nung ipinanganak ka, nandun ka lang. Diba? So, yung growth is about, nandyan yung law of nature na we need to grow. Diba? Halaman pa nga lang. Before maging puno is kailangan na mag-grow. Kailangan para mas ma-withstand niya yung mas malaking mga hurdles. Mas malaking ng environment. So, ikaw, tatanungin kita pre, mayroon ka ng mga mini-mentor. And paano pag tinanong nila sa iyo yun? Anong sasagot mo? Are you consistently growing and how are you growing?